Hey, I'm Coach T, and this is week 36 of my C Sharp DevLog, where I'm logging about every week my progress learning C Sharp and learning Unity now over the course of about a year. I'm 3/4 of the way through the year now, and I've learned a ton this year. I feel much more confident with C Sharp, and this week in particular, I just had a lot of fun actually working on the Unity project that I'm working through. Last weekend got kind of busy. It was just a junction of a lot of activities all at once between my side business, which is not related to coding, and production with all that stuff, and then baby time, kid stuff, and family events. It was kind of a snarl. So last weekend I just couldn't get down to doing the devlog. That's why I came out on Tuesday. But this time I am on the weekend. I'm just a little bit late because yesterday I was having a blast coding and I did not want to stop with the time that I had since the girls were off doing their own thing. So, yeah, this week I started the SharpShooter project, which is a first person shooter vertical slice using everything else that's been accumulated or studied or learned over the course of the 27-hour long GameDev.tv Unity beginner course. Which is it's a good course. I'm going to do a more in depth review of it at some point. But I would say overall, I've learned a lot from it, and I have areas where I can tell I'm confident and competent, and then there are some areas where I want to dive deeper into new topics. So things like shaders, still don't really understand. The UI and the UI interface, still really don't get how that works, but it hasn't been covered in this course. So that's something I'm going to be seeking more learning on over the next couple weeks because I don't think it's going to take me more than a week and a half to finish the sharpshooter slice. And at this point, I'm having so much fun with it. I'm seriously considering doing a bigger version of it, maybe building a couple of integrated levels and doing like a dungeon to explore, something like that, with some of my own homemade 3D models because a lot of what we're doing is well within my wheelhouse. So that's kind of like the TLDR of the entire week is every time that Steven, who's the instructor of this particular course, has given an assignment or something to go work on up through the first quarter of the course, because it took me 2 days to go through a quarter of it, uh, I've been able to do it pretty much independently. The only exception to that is modifying the Unity starter first person controller asset. I'd never seen anything like that before, but once I started to see how the pattern was built, I was able to do it on my own and get everything connected and hooked up. So that was really the only like new thing for me is just using an asset from the store. Previous to this, I've coded or written or modeled or textured or whatever, everything else totally on my own. I haven't been using assets that weren't the GameDev.tv prepared like Unity assets like ships or items, objects, whatever. This is the first time I had to go to the store, download something, utilize it, and modify the code to extend or increase what it can do. So it didn't take me long to get the pattern, though. Once I got the pattern, I was like, oh, I could even extend it doing X and Y and Z. So I might use this to add in like boosting or wall running. I think I could do those using the grounded feature, maybe even like a jump jet kind of thing. I think I could do those. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with this particular thing. The new thing, and the reason that I have the kind of lame lowbrow programmer humor joke as the title is because I didn't really get the null operator until Steven showed it. Previous to this, I was writing like if whatever the object is null, then do something else, do something else or debug basically. I had no idea I could just write that as um, in the example from the course, it's like enemy health question mark is the null operator, and then if it's not null, then follow up with the method that follows it, which was in this case was take damage. So I put that into the title as I think comprehend code null operator, and then the method that follows it is LearnFaster, which is a little bit lowbrow humor, but I was pretty excited about it because it immediately simplified a handful of other extensions that I had made onto the project. So I'm going to flip over to show you what I got. One caveat is the trackpad on my laptop does not play nice with this, and I cannot for the life of me find my Bluetooth mouse. I have a toddler. Toddler likes my computer gear because it's interesting and clicky. sometimes my computer gear grows legs. So I'm thinking that's what must have happened. It might be having a tea party. I'm going to look for it. It is a little bit hard for me to navigate. However, I've tested this with a regular mouse and I've tested this with a controller. Totally fine. It's just the trackpad that it really doesn't like. And it's one of those things where I have not been able to fine tune the settings. I know where the settings are. I have tried to fine tune them and I cannot find the sweet spot for the trackpad. So whatever. It's just going to be a little stilty. But I'll talk through what I've got. So and I'm downloading the Ascent in the background. Steam sale is on if you are a gamer. So it is a fully first-person experience, jumping, sprinting. I don't think that these guys have proximity sensors on anymore. No, I had experimented with a proximity sensor. The issue that I ran into was having the two sphere colliders. If I quickly pause, we'll just pick a robot to look at. Woo! You can see that there is a sphere collider here. Well, I had backed out and given it like a 10 wide one, and that caused an issue because anytime that the raycast from camera main hit the outer shell, it was triggering it as if it was a hit. And I know I can do a like a collection of hits or an array of hits with the raycast hit thing. I just didn't want to do it because it's not part of the tutorial right now. I did attempt that in my own projects like a month and a half ago. I got it to work, but it didn't feel like the right system. So what I did instead is if I shoot them, let me there we go, get control back. Oh yeah, if you shoot, it splashes, so you get a little muzzle flash, and you get a similar spherical particle effect, but you can't tell because it's going through the mesh. So it looks like a splash off of the hit dot point of the object. But if you shoot a creature, it passes along the player's transform now, and so this guy now knows where I am, and it doesn't matter the distance. It just seems to detect that it was hit, and then it goes looking. So that could be turned into a different state, I think, where it activates a different kind of state for the character. It starts looking around, ray casting it, and then if the ray hits the player, then it immediately determines it. I just went for a kind of simplistic, I hit you, you're an artificial intelligence, you know where the shot came from, and now you're going to come get me. That's it for now. The next step, the second quarter of the course, it's really hard to look around. The second quarter of the course is all about using Pro Builder. And I am not versed in Pro Builder at all. I've never used it. It looks like it's kind of Blender light in a lot of ways. A lot of like edge loops and edge selections, face selections, extrusions, scaling, beveling, all that's there. It's all stuff that I'm very comfortable with. So I just paused yesterday when I hit the enemy animation step. I should go back in. Let me go back in real quick, and I will show. So there's a couple of animations going on here. First, the gun kicks, and then also these guys animate a little bit. Right now, they still wobble even when they're moving. That's an idle animation. I couldn't figure out how to make it look better if I just had them moving. They just slid around, so I kind of like the idle animation more. But anyway, yeah, I'm having like legitimate fun with this. I'm using their assets for now, but if I go back and I make this into my own little first-person shooter experience, I'm going to use the assets from Feet First to do something. I don't have a story or anything worked out like that, but I think it would be kind of fun to take this and then meaningfully extend it as kind of a capstone project to the end of this course. It's 27 hours long. It's really long. I sit through 27. I don't sit through. I lead 27-hour-long professional development courses for teaching, and it's a lot of time. It's a lot of learning. So one thing that I'm always concerned about as an actual coach, right? This is the Coach T channel, is that people experience all of that and then they go and they don't utilize it, and it rusts right away. It rusts very quickly. So of the projects that we've done, I liked the spaceship navigator maze one. I thought that was fun, but it's not really my genre of choice. It's not something I would play on my own. The Infinite Runner, my daughter likes. She's 3 and she can manage to hit the A and the D key, but she doesn't really get it, and that might be something where I put like a rainbow down and a cat and stuff. That could be a fun like summer turnaround project for a day or two. Go back, revisit, and glow up an old project for her. The flight simulator didn't really do anything for me, and I feel like it really got undercut by the fact that at the end he goes, "This isn't really how I would actually do it. I just wanted to show you these features." That to me kind of like put a sour note on it. But the first person shooter one, that's something that I grew up playing. Doom and not Quake, but Heretic and Dark Forces, and then Halo and Metroid Prime and the Battlefield games. That could be fun for me to work on as a capstone project. Try to work in, an inventory or story events using the timeline, like drop pods or not drop pods, enemy drop offs, like leaping out of a ship or something. Some light animations and custom modeling. So I'm kind of thinking about doing that. I don't know if I'll do it right away. There are other courses that I have access to where I could learn new things. I know that there's stuff about shaders that I have a 4 or 6 hour course to. So the options are kind of wide open. I'm having a blast. I learned the null conditional operator. I learned more about particle systems. I did get better with those this week. And I'm trying to think. I guess I learned more about how the animator connects. I'm much more confident with that now. Creating custom animations in Unity. I still think I would prefer to animate in Blender right now. I don't know how the Unity skeletons work, or the armatures rather, but in Blender I'm very comfortable with simple animations. So I had my Gribbly monsters from the top-down shooter. Those I could easily stick right into this as low poly monsters, and I have all those animations done. So that might be something that I play with. I have a lot more to go. I'm not. Let me see. Let's see if I can pop it open here. My learning. Sorry, this is dead air. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Go back to OBS real quick. Capture gameplay. Yeah. Okay. So now you're looking at what I'm looking at. So I'm on the Pro Builder level block out. This is something I've been waiting for. What is this? March. I started this in late December, maybe. I've been waiting like 4 months to get to level design. I love multiplayer levels. I love level design. I play whenever I buy a Halo game, even though I don't play competitive multiplayer, I love to pop into the multiplayer levels and just walk around. Environment design really speaks to me. So this is something I'm really excited to do, and I wanted to do my video early this morning before all the other stuff that's going on so that I can spend a little bit of time building a simple level. But let's see, I'm on 14. I finished 14. This only goes to 42. And the last of that is polish and then the send-off. So I've got Pro Builder tips and tricks. Really looking forward to that. And then new scene prep, scriptable objects. I know diddly about. Nothing at all. So that's going to be totally new. I'm looking forward to that. Shoot cooldown, I know I can do. And then we're starting to do some new weapons. That's exciting to me because my side company, Feet First into Hell, has a bunch of weapons that I could easily transfer over. I already have the low poly models. Raycast overloads, I think I know what that one means. Ammo pickups, all that's really cool. Weapon viewport, that's neat to me. Gun recoil, yeah. So there's a bunch of neat little features in here. Player shield UI, I don't even know what that means. Yeah, so there's a ton of stuff in here. I'm really excited to work through over the next week or two. We don't have a break coming up at any point in the near future, so it's going to have to all be early mornings when I'm not going to the gym or late nights. But that's okay, because if I do, my current pace is like 2-3 videos on a work night with the coding on the side, then it doesn't keep me up too late, and it gets me through this in about a week and a half. So it's not too slow that I start forgetting things, and it's not too fast that I don't sufficiently have time to process things. So that's it. I know this is a longer log than it has been in the past, but hopefully there's some enthusiasm bleeding out. I'm really looking forward to doing the next step. I have to really think about how do I want to allocate my time. I've got a turn-based strategy one it's intermediate. That's very interesting to me because although I still feel like a beginner, my C# skills are at the intermediate phase. There's one on cutscenes. There's one on, let's see, what else do I have access to here? There's a turn-based RPG That's kind of cool to me. I've been playing a lot of the old Dragon Quest games before bed. I sit down and play, half-hour Dragon Quest on my phone. There's a shader graph course. It's only 4.5 hours long. I could maybe work through that one and learn how to do fire or water or, I don't know, toxic sludge. There's one on Game Feel with Steven. That one's 8 hours long. And then I have third person combat and traversal. There's a multiplayer. I mean, that course, I'm sorry, that Humble Bundle that I got was such a deal. This is going to keep me. This is going to keep me. That's my log where I type all my notes as I go. Yeah, this is going to keep me flush in learning for a year, I think. I'm tracking everything on Udemy as well because I want those dumb little certificates as I go along to show progress. But yeah, so I don't know if we're going to do a season 2 of the weekly devlogs. Maybe it'll only be monthly at a certain point. But I am having fun, and I am not going to back down because it's all about having fun at this point. Summer's coming, and I want to be able to build something neat over the summer. So, all right, that's it. With that said, I think I am going to dive into ProBuilder, and I am going to build my first level with ProBuilder today. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't have any ideas in my head yet. But I bet once I start playing with the tools, it's going to come to life. So with that said, I'm Coach T. This is kind of a long video diary with not like a lot of code. But I am coding, I am having fun, and I am taking my time. So I don't have anything else planned in the near future for new Affinity or new Python videos. At this point, I'm a little bit removed from Python. But if there are questions, I can probably still answer them. I have not started my C# course video stuff yet. I'm going to do it this summer. I need to give myself, excuse me, I just drank coffee and I wanted to come back up. I need to give myself time and the space to really think about how do I want to arrange those, because I really enjoy writing in C#. And I want that to be a pleasant experience for any other new learners as well. There's a lot, and I don't want it to feel like a fire hose. So that will be coming eventually. In the meantime, though, if you are working on something cool, talk about it in the comments, and I will try to remember to check this in a day or two and respond to you, because I'd like to hear what other people are working on too. I know there are some people that are watching or learning kind of alongside me, like doing their own thing, but along with me. So let's talk about it. And with that said, I am Coach T, and this is